I have been doing some Logi in silence for a while, and I just had some things that I wanted to get off my chest. Ever since I started playing this game back in War 80, each side has always had their set of excuses on why they lost a war. Now, of course, not every player makes excuses for losing. It's usually just a loud minority of the player base. Today, I am here to say that a win is a win. It takes a real team effort to achieve a victory in Foxhole. Ultimately, it is the team's collective effort that leads to victory or defeat, and every player must take responsibility in that effort. There are so many pieces and layers to Foxhole, it's not just one thing that makes a team lose. I know this is an extreme hot take, and it will not sit well with all, but that is the theme for this video. Each win is a win. And throughout this video, I'm not saying one faction complains more than the other, because I think both of them complain just about the same. One of my favorite things that I always love seeing at the end of the war is somebody posting on Reddit saying GG, even though they're the player from the losing faction. That is just some grade A sportsmanship right there. Now, over time, I've noticed trends on what players complain about and when they start to make these excuses. For example, if a war is lost sometime between day 1 and day 15, then most of the excuses will focus on low population. Now, of course, the number of players actively participating in a war can certainly impact the gameplay and experience. I won't deny that. Low populations can lead to less logi, tank crews, coordinated operations, fewer players to defend key points on the map, and it can make it slower to capture territories to progress as well. But even if your side of the faction has low population, guess what? A win is still a win. Another excuse I see is normally between day 15 and day 25, and this excuse is normally about alting. Does alting exist on both sides? Absolutely. I think a dumb shouting match that our community gets into sometimes is who is getting alted the worst. I will see threads upon threads of people explaining scenarios that happened on each of their sides, saying this flatbed was tossed into the river, or these tanks were tossed over here into the river, so we've had more damage, so our alting is worse than your alting. And I just think it's such a useless argument. At the end of the day, there's no way to tell who took more damage during a war to alting. I honestly understand players that get frustrated by this and that just want to quit the current war. I get it. But even if you lose with alting, guess what? A win is still a win. The last trend I noticed with Foxhole players is if the war lasts any time past 25 days. Can you guess what excuse comes next? The only excuse I see after day 25 of a war is about balance. I've said this many times, but getting past day 25 in a war, I think that is a great war. I think each side has put up a huge amount of effort to keep their territories alive, and I think both factions have done a great job. I find it quite hilarious because a faction may be losing for a short time, and then they will complain about balance, but then they will make a comeback and win, and then you won't hear anything. I think what players forget is that this game is actually massive. It takes thousands and thousands of little mistakes to lose a war. It's not just that one tank that has a 35-meter range while all other tanks have a 40-meter range. Flame me all you want, but I stand by that coordination and endurance in this game is more important to winning a war than the stats of certain tanks or guns. If you are a player that has complained about low population before, next time say GG and talk about new ways to help factions that are having low pop for the next war. If you are a player that complained about alting before, next time say GG and talk about ways to help stop alting for next war. If you are a player that complained about balance, next time say GG and talk constructively about what needs to be changed and balanced for the next war. At the end of the day, players will always make excuses. I would recommend that you be the player that says GG instead of making an excuse. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk / Logi rant. Feel free to let me know in the comments that I am completely wrong and that you know better than I do and a win is not a win, and just, go ahead. Give me your feedback. Tell me what you think of the video. Let me know if you agree with me, if you think a win is a win, but I'm fine if you can let me know your thoughts and if you think I'm completely wrong. Thank you, as always, for supporting my Foxhole content. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for listening to my rants that I sometimes go on. If you like the Foxhole content and want more of it, please feel free to subscribe down below, and I will catch you next time. Cheers.